I first saw Cuphead watching videos from content creators on YouTube. It had a very unique and alluring art style resembling old Looney Tunes and Merry Melody cartoons I used to watch as a kid. I always wanted to play, but it was only on Xbox at the time. Some years later, I watched another video on YouTube where they were talking about games on the Switch and saw footage for Cuphead flash on the screen. I said to myself, wait a minute, Cuphead is on Switch? Apparently, I was late to the party as it had been ported to the Switch way back in 2019. Better late than never, I suppose. I immediately went to Amazon to place my order for this gem. 2 days later, it arrived, and I finally got to play one of the most spectacular looking games in the past 10 years. I then returned it. Wait, what? Why would I not want to keep such a spectacular game? The gameplay is great, it's visually stunning, and has great controls. I won't disagree with any of that, and would never argue with someone who says that Cuphead is a great game. The problem, and it's probably just my problem, is the game is way too damn hard. Hard to the point where it's no longer fun.
If it's not fun, why bother?
There are games I've played in the past that are scathingly hard that I was able to finish. Phantasy Star 2 and Mother 1 and 2 come to mind. Well, I will never play those games again. There's an element to Cuphead these other games I mentioned didn't have. Punishment for failure. If you die in Cuphead, you have to start all over. In the run and gun sections, when you attempt to get currency on those levels, if you manage to get all the coins and you die before getting to the end, you have to start all over again and get all the coins again. There are no checkpoints. You just have to run it back. I had a similar experience with Metroid Prime Remaster, where I made a lot of progress in the game, but I couldn't find a save point. I ended up getting caught in a rough patch in the game where I couldn't find a save point, and I died and lost all my progress. This happened twice, and on the second time I just threw up my hands. I haven't touched the game since. I'm a casual gamer through and through. I play games as a thing I do between time. I don't play games so much to become good at them, but as a way to relax and unwind from the day. Games which bring frustration, I don't tolerate. Some will say this is a skill issue and tell me to get good. My response? No thank you. I'll just move on to something else. I was always seen as a gaming expert in my family. Looking back, I really wasn't. I was just the only one in my family who played video games, and I played them long enough to eventually be good enough to complete them. In no way am I a video game savant, and I have no desire to be. You won't see me doing speedrun videos or playthroughs. I don't have the desire or the time to put into gaming like that. Some people like fishing, others like gambling. I like gaming. In the free time I have, I like to play a relaxing game. And frustration is not relaxation. Some may say, why'd you give up? Why didn't you step up to the challenge and overcome it? Because it's a video game and not a real life problem. There are people who play games for a living and are excellent at it as content creators. They have a very passionate and dedicated community, and these guys are immensely talented. That ain't me. I'm not trying to make a career out of this, and I don't see it as something I need to excel at. No knock on those who are gaming experts, as these people overcame the obstacles and put in the time to become transcendently great at gaming. For most people, though, gaming is just something you do in your spare time to cool off. There are significant instances where gaming difficulty is an issue. The original version of Super Mario Bros. 2 was rejected by Nintendo of America's then gaming consultant, Howard Phillips, for its punishing difficulty. All video games have a level of challenge, but this particular game was designed to be a sweaty game. The developers had so much fun designing challenges in the game, they decided to take it to the next level and turn the game into a minefield of frame-perfect jumps, fake difficulty, and trolling. There's a chance the game could have been well received in the States if Nintendo of America gave it a shot, but not wanting to put a sweaty game, which looked like a continuation of the last game, out in the market recovering from a crash was understandable. Point being, the concern of difficulty in games is not a new thing. Masahiro Sakurai, the director for Smash Bros., spoke some years ago on those playing Smash competitively. He never said he didn't want them to play or that he hates the competitive scene. What he did say is he doesn't want to make Smash into a game with a high barrier for entry. The game caters to the casual gamer and does not center around high-skill competitive play. This is why a fighting game series like Smash Bros. Is soon to be the best-selling franchise amongst other fighting game series with over 20 entries to Smash's 5. If you need evidence of the majority of people who play games not desiring highly difficult games, Smash's success in the fighting game genre is some of the best evidence you can put forth. It's games like this which make me appreciate Nintendo and their attention to game design, the way they make games accessible to everyone, in curating content, as well as how they design challenge in the game. These games have a level of challenge, but not so much to frustrate the player, and not so little where the game is brain dead. Some complain about games like Mario Wonder, Mario Odyssey, and Pikmin being too easy. But this is why they do so well sales-wise, and why Pikmin is the best-selling entry in the series. Nintendo desires to make games for those of all skill levels to play. As I said in my previous video, you can't cater to hardcore fans if you want to grow and expand. Nintendo has always been about getting new people to play games, and they have certainly succeeded with this on the Nintendo Switch. It's an exciting time to be a fan of Nintendo, as we're entering a renaissance of Nintendo similar to their reign in the late 80s. This is not to say games which are super hard are bad or should be eliminated. As I said before, styles make fights, and they also make video games. Every game has a target audience or demographic they want to hit. Cuphead, which was made by an indie studio, sold 6 million copies worldwide. Elden Ring, a game known for its difficulty, has sold more than 20 million copies in a little over a year while winning Game of the Year. Clearly, these types of games have an audience. There's no such thing as a game for everyone. There is no game which every type of gamer can enjoy. Nintendo's goal is to get as many people into gaming as they can by targeting the biggest audience, and difficulty can be a barrier to this as most people don't want a frustrating gaming experience. Nevertheless, sweaty games have a following, and from the sales results and critical acclaim of Elden Ring and Cuphead, it's not insignificant. Some may say these games did as well as they did because of other factors other than their difficulty. This may be the case, but the point still stands. It is very possible to make a difficult game which attracts a significant audience. At the end of the day, play what you love and love what you play. I always stick by Nintendo for making games casual players such as myself can get into and enjoy while having just enough challenge to make the experience rewarding without frustration. It's why their games sell in the tens of millions consistently while being on one single platform, and how they've been able to attract a whole new audience of players to their games.